What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 20 of the Miami Marlins Out of Park Baseball 25 series. We're here May 2nd, 2031. And I usually don't check in this early, but man, this has been an incredible start. 20-2 through the first month of the season. Just an incredible start. We lost our first game against San Fran. We swept the Diamondbacks and Cubs. Took 2 out of 3 against San Francisco. Swept the Rockies. We won 3 out of 4 against the Rockies. And then swept the Cardinals, swept the Brewers, swept the Braves. And now we're here in May. So it's been an incredible start to the season. It's pretty much, led by, you could say 3.5 guys, 4 guys offensively. I'd say 4.5 guys. Sorting by WRC plus, see these top 4. It's like ridiculous. Corbin Carroll did miss a few games to start the year, but he's on pace for 133 games in 18 games this season. 213 WRC plus, on pace for 11.9 WAR. Just insane. At this point, it looks like he's not going to pick up that player option. So this might be the 1 year we have him. But still, if he stays healthy, what a signing that was. Luis Herrera, 206 WRC plus, on pace for 12 WAR, on pace for 59 home runs, 140 RBIs. Just ridiculous. And then Nordo Watkins, he was our best hitter for maybe the first 2 weeks of the season. He had like a 250 WRC plus, still on 191, on pace for 11.7 WAR in his true rookie season. I guess last year technically qualified as a rookie, but this year, just incredible start to the year for these guys. They pretty much, put this offense on their back. Luke Adams, though, great start. He's 52 home runs, 176 WRC plus, 6.3 WAR projected. He does have an injury, knee tendonitis, and then he's also has a pending head injury. Hopefully not too bad. Definitely need him. Jacob Berry got off to a slow start, but he's picked it up the last 4 games or so. Had a really good series against Milwaukee and Atlanta. 123 WRC plus. Kind of a forgotten guy. He missed half of 2029. Got off to a really good start and then got hurt, unfortunately. And then last year wasn't very good at all. I kind of forget about Jacob Berry. He's a free agent at the end of the year and everything, but still super excited that he's playing well. Royce Lewis has been really solid as well, on pace for 4 WAR, 114 WRC plus. Maybe not living up to that price tag, but it still had a good start to the season. Chaz has been really good too. Love to see him playing well. 112 WRC plus, on pace for 2.7 WAR. We'll take that all day. Again, 2 years left on the contract. 1 year after this one. And then Rafael's been solid. Had a nice little run of games here to boost up the numbers, but his defense at second just isn't great. Minus 1.1 zone rating. I would love to get a real second baseman in this building. I'd be able to move him back to his super utility role, but how he is now is totally fine. Then the last of the starters is Chad Rogers, who has had a disappointing start to the year. The BABIP is really low. Hasn't hit a ton of home runs yet or anything. 56 WRC plus. Hopefully he can improve. He's still a good defender and everything. So small sample size. We'll see. Jonathan Wilson's been okay as a backup catcher. He's a defense guy. Whatever we get from him offensively is totally fine. Sonoja really hasn't had a ton of playing time. Hasn't had to play, but has walked in 16% of his plate appearances. Only struck out in 5.3. The BABIP's really low, so hopefully he can have a good rest of his season. Rodney Green, again, playing pretty sparingly, striking out 47% of the time with a high BABIP. It's probably a guy we're going to wind up trading, if we're being honest. But then Jeremiah Jackson has had to play. Not had to play, but we've been playing him at second. Hasn't been very good. But we do have one guy killing it in AAA. Brad Sonneborn, former first-round supplemental pick in 2026. It's taken him a while to get going, but having a great year so far in AAA. He's kind of the next man up if we decide to do something. Sebastian Norman also playing well down here. Dalton Parker having a good year. Jesus Flores, first round pick 2 years ago, 12th overall. He's playing pretty well too in AAA. So, and the pitching. I mean, the pitching's been just about as good as the offense. You check out the FIPS and it's just stupid. Casey Mize has been our worst starter. He's both the games we've lost, he's started. A couple of stinkers here against Colorado and San Fran, but he's put a couple good games between that, or on the outside of those ones. So, he's had a couple good years in a row. I'm not going to give up on him yet. And, if he's our worst pitcher, with a 110 FIP minus, I can live with that. But you got Jason DeCaro, a 1 ERA through 5 starts, 36 innings. He's been insane. But Yuri Perez has been even better somehow. A .76 ERA through 5 starts, 35 innings. 52 FIP minus. I mean, the ERA plus, out of this world. Those guys have been absolutely incredible. Eric Spiegel's been awesome as well. 2.74 ERA, 4 starts, 23 innings. I give him a ton of distance at this point, but we'll definitely take that. Braxton Garrett, 1.20 ERA plus, a 47 FIP minus, has not given up a home run in 4 starts this year. I think he got hurt in one of his starts. He had to get taken out, or maybe just sucked in this one. Yeah, that's what it was. But he's been really good. We talked about Casey Mize. So then Jesus Luzardo. We just signed him kind of as a tip of the cap. Great career. Or, not a great career, but he's been a staple in the rotation for a while. And his start to the year was awesome. He pitched, we started here, 2 innings shutout, 2/3 of an inning shutout, 4 1/3 shutty, 4 1/3 shutty, 2 1/3 shutty, and finally got roughed up in this game against Atlanta. But still, his FIP minus is 51, has given up 1 home run, not a walk yet in 14 innings. So, love what he's brought as our long man. And, the rest of the bullpen for once has been excellent. Kyle Harrison, he's in the closer's role right now. We'll get to Mercedes. He got hurt. Nothing serious, but Harrison's been great. A really good signing, minor league deal. Joe Boyle's been good so far. Jason Flores has been really good. Nate Snead just got called up. He's pitched 1 inning. Kalen Wallace, 7 1/3 in 3 games, striking out 16 guys per 9, not giving up any walks so far. Small sample size, of course, but he's off to a good start. Dominic Fritton's been a little disappointing, but they're not walking anyone. Only 9 innings. Again, small sample. Then Ian Seymour has barely pitched. Just have not needed him with this rotation pitching this well. And that's pretty much what's happened here. Jorge from Mercedes got off to a really nice start. 7 1/3 innings, striking out 18 guys per 9, which is ridiculous. Barely walked anyone. No home runs. Has a sore elbow, so we put him on the IL. And we'll see what the Luke Adams thing looks like. But you got Luis Rosado here in AA, playing really, really well. Through 80 plate appearances. We'll probably get him to 150, maybe 200, then call him up to AAA, but he's proven he can hit at this level at least, so really excited for him. Talked about Flores. We're first in all offensive categories, essentially. First in all pitching and defense categories, essentially, minus errors and base running, but just a ridiculous start to the season. So finally everything's coming together, it looks like. Let's hope we can keep it up. We'll see you guys in June. All right, folks, we are back. It is June 12th, 2031. The Marlins are 38-21. Obviously, a big fallout since our 22 start. Definitely fell back to earth in May. 13-14 months so far in June, 5-5. We were never going to be a 909 win percentage for the full season. Just kind of crashed back to normalcy last month, but we're still having a good year. We are missing a few guys, and I mean, there's been a couple of bad losses as well. 15-10 loss. Just not pretty, not ideal. We're second in runs against, fifth in runs scored. We are much higher in runs scored. Have fallen off a little bit, but this offense is just it's nice to see guys actually hitting well. That's been true for most of our lineup. We've been out with Nordo Watkins, or without Nordo Watkins for a good chunk of the season. He went out for 4 weeks just after we checked in last time with a bone spur, out for 4 weeks. He has a couple days left. He should be back within the week after a quick rehab assignment. But he was off to a fantastic start. 160 WRC plus, still on pace for 5.5 WAR in 80 games projected. So he's been fantastic. Love what we gotten from him. Also good without Luke Adams for most of the season. He went out with a concussion after we checked in, and then suffered a setback about 3 weeks later. So he's been out for most of the season. Only played 21 games so far out of our 59. But he was having a great year before he went down. Really unfortunate. But I mean, the top part of our lineup is really carrying us. Corbin Carroll, just what a signing. There's really not much else you can say. He's on pace for 10.7 WAR, 207 WRC plus, a 1.153 OPS. The strikeout walk rates are nearly identical. It's always good when you're walking as much as you're striking out. And has barely missed any time. I'm benching him when he's less than 90% energy, as I mentioned last time, because he is wrecked. But he is, knock on wood, dealt with anything too serious besides like a minor injury at the beginning of the year. So he's been incredible. And I mean, he has the player option. If I'm him, there's no way I'm taking that. He'll probably ask for a big extension. I mean, maybe we'll look at something if it's affordable enough. But super excited with what we've gotten from him. And Luis Herrera, picking up where he left off last year. He's been even better somehow. The walk rate is spiked up to 11%. We'll see if he can sustain that. The strikeout rate's down to 17.5%. 175 WRC plus, 3.8 WAR. On pace for 10.5. Been great in the field. He's really the total package. On pace for 41 home runs. Just an incredible player. We'll get to Jesus Flores really quick. But Royce Lewis, he's been really hot and cold, it seems. He got off to a good enough start in April. His start of the year was much better than how he finished April. And then May was really bad, but so far in June, he's killed 8 in 8 games. Overall, it's been a good season for Royce, though. 122 WRC plus, living up to the contract. I mean, it's a big number, but if we can get this production, I'll be totally happy with that. We'll get to Emmanuel Valdez as well. Jazz, he's been about a league average hitter, but his defense in left field has been really bad compared to where he's been in right field the last few years. 2029 was like his best year in the field. And then last year he was fine, but this year he's been bad in left. He's 33 now. Maybe he's just slowing down. He's still got 1 year left on the deal. We'll see. We'll see with him. Jacob Berry got off to a really nice start. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to, sustain for the full season, or at least the 58 games that we played. The walk rate's down once again. The strikeout rate's way up. The BABIP's had a good number, so maybe this is just who he is at this point. His ratings have fallen off a bit. He'll be a free agent after the year. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to bring him back, or we'll want to bring him back, even though it's a reasonable price. We'll see in the offseason and how he finishes the season. Rafael's been okay. 80 WRC plus. Unfortunately, he's been forced to play a lot of second base, which is just not his position. And in center field, I mean, he is 30. Like, he's starting to slow down a little bit. The speed, not really, maybe he's not able to cover as much ground anymore. It's still a decent defender. I think he could be a plus defender in center field. It just hasn't really been there yet. He's had to fill in. He's playing center field against lefties, playing second against righties. Just kind of how things have fallen. Sonoja, the walk rate's really nice. The strikeout rate's also really nice. It's been throughout his career, but the results haven't really been there. The BABIP is low. His range is down. Like, he's not even really a center fielder anymore. even as like a backup. So, he's going to be in for, he's going to make quite a bit of money this offseason. So he could be a non-tender guy. We'll see. Sebastian Norman, guy who didn't make the opening day roster, but we called him up pretty quickly. He got called up when Luke Adams went down. Hasn't had a ton of plate appearances yet. He got off to a nice start. Just from what I kind of remember, he had this 2-homer game, 2 games into getting called back up after being optioned to start the year. 2-homer game in his second game. Hasn't really done much since. A couple singles here and there, but he's a fine player. And Chad Rogers has been a disappointment this year. His WRC plus is basically half of what it was last year. Still a good defender, still a valuable player, but a little disappointed after the season he had last year. And then Jonathan Wilson-Mays, we'll talk about him. He hasn't been doing much so far. He has some high trade value, so we're deep at catcher. Could be a position or a guy that we use to maybe upgrade our rotation come deadline time. But we'll see about that. He's still a decent defender and theoretical upside at the bat. Then Rodney Green, after an okay season last year, he's come out of the gates and been miserably bad. 33 WRC plus through 125 plate appearances. He's a part-time player at this point. He's only playing against righties. He was a 4th-round pick back in 2024. He's 28 now, though. I think the time's probably just up on him to be the hitter that he kind of was when he came up. He's never really actually been a good hitter in the majors. I guess 2030 wasn't bad. Last year wasn't too bad. It's a little disappointing how his career's turned out, but he's still a major league player. And then let's go to the new guys. So Jesus Flores, 23-year-old, 2029 first-round pick, 12th overall, kind of flew through the minors. Started the year in AAA, and we ran into some injuries and underperformance. So I want to get his bat up here, and he's been really good. 21% walk rate in 47 plate appearances. I think that could definitely sustain with his eye potential. His current ratings aren't anything special, and the power is certainly not. But could definitely be a power or a speed eye, prototypical leadoff hitter type, which we have a few of those, but also plays good defense over at third. He's been playing a lot of second. He's playing second against lefties, and then not playing against righties yet, but I think he's chipping into Norman's playing time. Oh, never mind. Norman's not playing against righties. These are kind of the lineups at this point. And then Emmanuel Valdez, a guy who played really well last year in AAA. Got off to a really good start in AAA this year. So we called him up, and he's been a decent player for us in 65 plate appearances, walking in 14% of his tries, and then 103 WRC plus, nothing special, but a good DH option against righties. And I think that was everyone I wanted to cover hitting-wise. Pitching-wise, it's still been good overall, but the elephant in the room, Casey Mize, was just so bad. He had this 7-run, 3 2/3 outing, just giving up way too many home runs. I eventually just demoted him to the bullpen. I couldn't keep throwing him out there. And he's had 3 good appearances and 1 really bad one, so take that for whatever that's worth. The home run ball has just been a huge issue this year. That's not really something that carries year to year, but he is a free agent after the season. 34 years old. He had a couple of decent years for us, but it's probably maybe just time. He's just reaching the end of his career, maybe. So we'll start with the negatives there, but there's a lot of positives to talk about. So Yuri Perez has, you take out this last start, which was by far the worst start of his year. Where his ERA jumped 0.5. He was ERA under 1 through 11 starts, and he still had a 1.37 through 12. It's been incredible. It's been an incredible season from Yuri. Obviously, the front runner for National League Cy Young. I don't even need to look around. On pace to throw 260 innings. He's been awesome. Really nothing else to say. No complaints. Jason DeCaro having a really, really solid bounce back season after he was hurt last year. It was a good year when he was out there, but he was hurt. He's been awesome. .309 ERA is our number 2, 62 FIP minus, which means there's probably even more room for improvement in there. He's been everything we would have wanted when we took him 28th overall in 2026. In his really second full season. I don't know if there's I don't know if he would want an extension, but that's a guy I would look at. He's only 25, so a lot of room to grow. We'll go to Braxton Garrett next because he's been our third best starter. What a good signing this has been. $6 million for 1 year. And he's given us excellent play. 72 FIP minus, 122 ERA plus. On pace to throw about 160 innings. I'm not really sure why he's that low in innings. Maybe he's just had a couple really short starts. I believe he's made all of his starts. I don't think that's been an issue. Maybe he hasn't. No, he has. He's made 11 starts. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he's only on pace for 160 innings, but anyway, he's been good. Really good season. Eric Spiegel, there's been a lot of good, a lot of bad. He had 2 really bad starts here, followed up with an excellent one and a shutout win against Houston. Overall, it's been a much better season than it was last year, and hopefully he can keep improving. He's only 26, in his really second full season. And then Jesus Luzardo. So I didn't think we'd, have him back in the rotation so quickly. His fastball's down to 85, 87. But he somehow continues to be like a really quality pitcher somehow. The walks being that low are a big part of it. Somehow he's striking out 7.9 guys per 9, keeping the home run ball down. And, the ratings don't suggest it, but he's been a really good arm for us. So, since he's become a starter, these are his 5 starts. So he's had, 2 bad ones, 2 okay ones, and 1 really good one. I would even call this a good start. 6 2/3, 3 runs. He's been splitting time between the bullpen and starting. He's been a lot better. He was really good as a reliever. 2.74 ERA. As a starter, he's been substantially worse, but it could have been much worse than Casey Mize. And Jorge Mercedes did miss a little bit of time to start the year, but he's been phenomenal when he's out there. 0.53 ERA through 17 innings. Kyle Harrison was the closer for a little bit. When Mercedes was out, he was really good. Has had a couple bad games here in a row. But overall, been a really good minor league free agent signing for basically nothing. Joe Boyle's had a really good year as well, following up his incredible 2030 season. Nate Snead's been up and down. 5.2 innings, not really much to say. Caleb Wallace was having a really good season. He had his ERA was minuscule at one point. Before that game, it was 0.84. Not too many innings, but enough. And then he's had a couple stinkers in here. He's only thrown 17 innings so far, so not really too much to say. We'll keep monitoring him, but overall hasn't been too bad out of him. Ethan Wheeler, we've called him up. He was a second-round pick back in 2026. So it was him and DeCaro in the same draft. And I really liked Ethan Wheeler when I drafted him. Throughout his career, he's kind of dominated the minors outside of this half season in high A. He's kind of flown through our system. We drafted him as a high schooler, and he's made it all the way to the majors this year. And he's been really good in 10 innings. So hopefully a guy who can step into the rotation after the season. Luzardo and Garrett will be gone. So it could be a guy who fights for a spot in that rotation. And then Dominic Fritton, it's been solid. His FIP is the best it's ever been in his career. The results haven't quite been there. So, the high BABIP's probably a part of it, 351. But he's been okay. And that's pretty much it. Other guys who have been up, Alton Davis was up for a few innings. He was really good. Just in that small amount of time. Jason Flores was pitching a bit. He started the year in the bullpen through 21 2/3 innings. I didn't really like where his peripherals were going. Only 7.5 Ks per 9. I should just change him to a reliever because I don't want to use him as a starter in the minors. I want to have him as a guy who can come up and down. But he was up. Looks like Dan Peacher got hurt. That's unfortunate. Ian Seymour started the year on the roster. He wasn't really pitching too well, giving up too many home runs. So he got demoted back down. And that's all the guys who have made appearances in the majors. Brad Sonneborn was a guy I wanted to call up, but he was hurt when I was looking at it. He's back now, so he could be called up at any moment. Luis Rosado was playing really well in Double-A, 116 WRC plus with his good glove. So we called him up to Triple-A. Only 30 plate appearances so far. Samuel DeSources has struggled in Triple-A thus far. Luis Cova up in Triple-A, not playing too well, but there's still some hope there. And Dalton Bargo has not made an appearance, but playing okay in Triple-A. So that's the team where we are today. Jesus Toleka, a guy I want to talk about. He's pitched really well in Double-A so far in 8 starts. So a guy who could be called to Triple-A, maybe the majors at some point this year. Jamie Casey was a high floor guy we took in the second round last year. He's up to Double-A after 6 really good starts in High A, pitching well in 2 starts in Double-A. Sean Witherspoon, another guy who's pitched really well in High A so far. His ratings aren't really quite there where I'd promote him to Double-A at this point. He's walking a few too many guys for my liking, so I'm going to keep him down there for a little bit, but he's pitching well. Then a bunch of lower minors guys that, it's really too early to tell. Ted Hart is up in Double-A after a good start to the season in High A. He was a pretty early pick. He was a first-round supplemental pick in 2028. That's where we are. So, Tim Starkle, another guy I wanted to talk about. He was a 7th-round pick in 2030, a high floor infielder. I kind of saw him as a utility guy in the future. He was playing well in Double-A, so called him up to Triple-A. Only 21 plate appearances, but he's up at that level now. That's where we'll end this. We're 38-21. It's 4 games up on the Rockies, and we'll be back for probably the draft at this point. So we'll see you then. Okay, so really, really nice month of June that we finished with. A 17-11 record. That's 12-6 after we last left off, and so far in July 7-2. Really good month, and we're almost exactly a month from where we left off. Not much has changed. Corbin Carroll's still killing it. Luis Herrera's still having a great year. Nordo Watkins has come back and put some life into the offense. He's been great. Luke Adams has come back. 9 games. He's had a couple hits here. Had a 3-walk game the other day. He's still having a good year overall. Royce Lewis has been still up and down. The batting average isn't pretty, but he is walking 12.5% of the time, which is up 4% from last season, by far a career high. So overall, a little disappointing, but still a good year from Royce. Jazz has really turned it on, 113 WRC plus. Recovered from being like a replacement level guy. Had a couple really big games in there along that stretch. Emmanuel Valdez has really kind of established himself as a nice player for us. 110 WRC plus and 139 plate appearances. He's our pretty much everyday DH. Jacob Berry kind of been pushed to the background here with Luke Adams coming back and Valdez kind of establishing himself. He's still playing a little bit, but not nearly as much as he once did. The numbers just aren't really pretty at this point, so we'll see what happens with him as we approach the deadline. Then Jesus Flores, still a little disappointed, but still brings it with the glove. The bat's been good enough to be able to put him out there. So Dane Rafaela back as a super utility guy, probably where he should be. We did give him a nice little extension this offseason, but it's nothing that's untradeable if we want to go that route. Jonathan Wilson's kind of picked it up since a slow start. Only limited plate appearances. Chad Rogers has been even worse somehow than he started out the year, so huge disappointment of a season. That was really low, so we're hoping he can bounce back in the second half. Luis Cova's up with the team. He was in our system before we started the save. Now what? We promoted him from the International Complex in 2025. Yeah, I'm not even sure. He must have just been in our system. But anyway, He's up. He's had a few plate appearances. Got his first career hit, so that's cool. Yuri Perez, mostly good. I did have one stinker in here. Not a great start, but he gave 7 innings in this one, but still a 2.2 ERA. He wasn't going to have an ERA of 1.5 the whole year, so this was bound to happen, but still a really good season from him. Joey Breen, so 5th round pick back in 2028. He was a high floor college guy when you had drafted him, 21 years old. Pitched really well through the system and was killing it in AAA. And unfortunately, it was who the heck had gotten hurt? Oh, DeCaro got hurt. He went down with like a minor injury. It was a week and a half, so I put him in the IL. Called him Joey Breen. And in 3 starts, he's absolutely killed it. 5 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, no runs in his first 3 career starts. We'll see if he can sustain it, but overall, it's been a really good start to his career. It's going to be, if he keeps pitching like that, you probably keep that 5th starter spot. Jason DeCaro has been even better than he was previously. Did get hurt, but overall, 2.71 ERA. Excellent season from the 25-year-old. Eric Spiegel has been on a crazy nice run, 3 consecutive awesome starts, and he had a decent one here, 6 2/3, 2 runs, and then a really good 7-inning start there. So really great month from Eric Spiegel. Check out his June. 2.61 ERA so far in July, 0 ERA in 13 innings, 2 starts. He's been awesome. And Bryson Garrett has fallen off a little bit in his last few starts. Still giving us like league average starter play though, which is definitely valuable. Jorge Mercedes continues to be great. Kyle Harrison's been solid. We've had kind of a revolving door with these middle relievers, but the guys who have stayed have been Caleb Wallace, who has pitched really well. Dominic Fritton, who's been even better, than he's been in previous years. Ian Seymour's back up with the team. Nate Snead's been up and pitched pretty solid. And Alton Davis is up currently. Just kind of how things worked out. And then Jesus Luzardo was fine as a starter. He gave us a 6 2/3, 1 run, 7 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs. But when DeCaro came back, and Joey Breen is pitching that well, I kind of want to keep Breen in there. So Luzardo will go back to the bullpen. Jason Flores was much better since he came back up. His strikeouts per 9 got to 9. The walks went down a little bit. And overall, he was a lot better, but he's down in the minors currently because we needed a fresh arm. Eric Wheeler's been up for 6 innings and been really good. Ethan Wheeler was freaking awesome through 22 innings. Unfortunately, I just needed a couple fresh arms, so he's back down. But let me make him a reliever. It's probably the role he'll be used in if he comes back up to the majors, but it could be a starter again. So that's the team. We're here for the first year player draft. So let's jump into it. We have the 19th pick. Got pushed down by 1 due to a Tigers comp pick. So let's jump into it. Just going to look at some college guys. This doesn't look like this is just pitchers. Ron Butler looks like a total beast, but a bad personality. John Dowdy looks okay. Doesn't look like a crazy draft class here. Oh, this guy's... Whew. I mean, if he fell to me, I'm taking him. Holy shit, that defense. The bat's not bad. But let's see how this plays out. We have the 19th pick. Let's go to the draft log. That shortstop go. Is him? Yeah, Jeremy Corbett won a few picks before. That's unfortunate. It's a guy I would have loved to have picked up. So we'll jump to our pick. And okay, let's see what's available. Not a bad arm, but a high school guy. Try to stay away when I can. Chris Blackburn's got a good personality. Decent floor for an 18-year-old. The eye is an issue, but overall a good player. Probably just a reliever. This guy's not bad. Alan Featherstone, 17 years old. Decent floor. Has 6 pitches, which I always love. Great home run allowed. What's his name? Alan Featherstone. Jared Fisher looks like a beast. Good personality. 5 good pitches. Home runs could be an issue. It's also fragile, which is not a good sign for a pitcher at 17 years old, 18 years old, whatever he happened to be. Zach Beston, a really good all-around player. This is like a sleeper, like good pick. The floor is just a little low. This guy's not bad either. 3-pitch guy. Jenny Easton, really good personality. High upside at the bat. Good speed. Decent defense. Right, we got John Michael Lerner. Good size. Cutter, splitter, changeup, curveball, slider. Love that pitch mix. The home runs is just a huge question mark with him. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, Caleb Mason. Huge power upside. Decent infielder. Could definitely be like a third baseman, second baseman type. Maybe even shortstop. He's durable. Huge power. The avoid case is an issue. But really like Caleb Mason's upside. I mean, so far nothing's really impressed me besides just a few guys. The catcher can't play defense. A lot of these guys are good players, but it's just other people that kind of have stuck out more to me. I like this guy's defense, but I don't know. It's probably not worth it. Oof. Love Josh Frazier. Not in the first round, but maybe a second round guy. Huge power upside. I mean, I feel like we've drafted so many of these guys, and they typically haven't worked out like incredibly well. Ooh, who's this? Mike Jenks. Really good floor. Just not a spectacular pitcher, but we've kind of made these guys work in our rotation. You know, we've drafted similar guys like Jason DeCaro, who kind of came into his own. He was probably a better prospect. Then, you know, you got like Eric Spiegel here, who's kind of a similar profile as Mike Jenks. Jenks just a little bit worse, but I like him. Just look at some college guys. This college starter. Really unspectacular college starters here. Usually there's some decent guys that I like. Guy's not bad. Fastball, slider, changeup, sinker, cutter. A few too many fastballs for my liking. Yeah, this is kind of an unspectacular draft class. We're probably better off just swinging for the fences. I do still like Chris Hasburn, the first guy that we happen to look at. He does have a high demand. We have $22 million in budget room. Fastball, slider, changeup, sinker. Not an ideal pitch mix, but a good floor for an 18-year-old. Good size. The velocity will probably tick up as he gets older. And huge stuff potential. I really like Chris Hasburn. Hasbun. But I also like Jared Fisher. Oh, he's fragile though. Yep. Okay, that was the problem with him. Alan Featherstone, another guy I really liked. A little bit lower of a floor than Chris Hasbun. I'm going to keep saying Hasburn, but it's Hasbun. I really like his pitch mix, though. Similar size profile. This guy's a much lower demand, so maybe that kind of makes me lean toward him. I like the pitch mix, and I like the home run allowed. Has-been just doesn't really have the pitches that I like. Fastball, slider, changeup is fine. The sinker is a good addition, but it doesn't make sense that I'm leaning toward Featherstone. I think I just like this. I like this profile better. I like that shortstop too. We're on pitchers for some reason. Zach Breston's also a good player, but I like toolsy guys. So Caleb Mason's got this huge power. I think we've drafted these guys before, and I don't know. He's durable though. It's really interesting. We have a comp pick this year. We do. Okay, we have a pick coming up kind of soon. So maybe I'll hope the shortstop falls to us. Chris Blackburn's actually really interesting too. Super interesting player. The good work ethic, good intelligence, high upside at the bat. What does our scout thinks? Well, productive regular, raw power, quickening bat. This guy could easily totally bust though. I'm gonna go Alan Featherstone. Yep. I've decided. Okay. The Chris Fair? That's not the guy we wanted. Okay, next pick. So Zach Beston's still there. I like him. Caleb Mason, it's too intriguing, this profile. We could even try to tick up the avoid Ks, but I think his BABIP is good enough that he could actually hang, even if he's a high strikeout guy. And his eye is good enough, so he's not going to just be like a Javi Baez type free swinger with big power. In theory, Javi Baez has big power. Of course, that really hasn't come to fruition, but it's neither here nor there. Why not? I really want to take Caleb Mason here. He's under slot. So it's your supplemental pick. Maybe this is a time. I don't know if there's even any college guys left. Not really. Wow. So it's pretty much all high schoolers here. Julio Ramos is interesting enough, but not really the build that I like. Guy's fragile. Kind of like this guy's floor, John Buchanan. But as a second round pick, I kind of want a little bit more upside. So we'll go back up. Jared Fisher, I know he's fragile, but it's such an interesting prospect. Could easily just bust out of the league immediately. Fastball, curveball, changeup, sinker, high stuff, movement's questionable, control is fine. It's not like we're starved for players in the higher minors, so I don't mind, getting some developmental high school guys in here. Slider, curveball, changeup, splitter, cutter. Yeah, this guy I like too. The home runs are just a huge question mark. This guy's got a nice floor. Just not really exciting upside. If this is the OSA, I love that pitcher. This pitcher is okay. Nothing special though. Yeah, there's not a ton that I like. Chad Kane is still here. He's also impossible, so never mind. The low work ethic, a little concerning. I think I'm going to go with the injury-prone Jared Fisher. He's got high work ethic. Maybe he can work through the injury issues. That's just wishful thinking, and I really want him to work out. But I'm going to go Jared Fisher. Second round, sorry. We don't have a third round pick because we signed Corbin Carroll in the offseason, so we will go to the fourth round. Who's our scout think? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't mind taking him in like the seventh round, but not in the fourth. Guy's impossible. No, I actually like this guy in the fourth round. Slider, curveball, changeup, cutter. Good movement on his pitches. Yeah, why not? Let's take Samar Apaya. Decent enough stamina. Good size. Okay, let's take him. Our scout thinks we should take this guy. I kind of like him, actually. The defense isn't really good enough. I mean, if Ted Killian's going to be sitting here, even if he has the low work, I think that's worth a dart throw. Unless there's really a high school arm here that I like. Which there's really not. Yeah, Jim Davis is okay, but he's probably a second baseman. Norm Garland's fine. Rob Hanley. Think about those second basemen is like they're not playing anywhere but second. So if they're not like an elite player at that position, it just doesn't make any sense. I actually like this guy, Ed Pappalardo, another one of these guys in this build, which I seem to be enamored by for whatever reason. Well, it's never really worked. When you look at, Rodney Green's down in AAA. And St. Louis Sources can't hit in AAA, although he's been better. But these guys are scarily enough the same player. Like, literally identical players. I guess the Sources, yeah, their potential is about the same player. Green is a better defender and has better speed. But, yeah, hitting-wise, they're the same player. He's starting to heat up. Just a little bit. What's Luis Rosado doing down there? Yeah, he still hasn't figured out AAA. I'm going to leave him there for now, but... okay, back to the draft. Sorry. Got very sidetracked. Why not? I mean, he's got the tools. All right, and then that's the fifth round, so we'll go finish out the draft, come back with results. Alrighty, so we have the draft results here. Took Alan Featherstone in the first round. We don't need to go through all of these, but Caleb Mason's in the first supplemental. Jared Fisher, second round. Shamar Apaya in the fourth round, and Ed Pappalardo in the fifth. Then we went and took CJ Garcia, probably more of a reliever, but an interesting player nonetheless. Nate Hall, definitely just a reliever. The pool started to thin out at this point, so took a bunch of relievers because these guys are good to have in the system. Sam Givens is interesting enough for a 10th round pick. Jesus Maestre, good personality, pretty decent bat upside, at least contact-wise. Tim Brady's got some power. Jeff Byrne, decent high school reliever. Tommy Davies. It was just kind of a bunch of relievers after that. Alex Carrillo, a guy that I put in high A-ball after I drafted him. He was a 16th round pick. Steve Steven has an eye, I guess. The end of this draft was pretty brutal. She just took a couple of relievers. Guys fell off the system and everything. So that's the draft. We'll come back when we have any trades that are coming up. Don't really know where the holes are on this team. We have a pretty solid squad as is. I mean, maybe like a real second baseman, but Jesus Flores has been, not great defensively, but he's been awesome defensively at second base. Jonathan Wilson's played better as our backup catcher, so I don't think that's a need. The infield's pretty set. The outfield's pretty set. Jazz has played a lot better, so, it's not a question mark. And then I think whatever we can get from Valdez and Barry at DH will be enough. So, maybe a true DH could be an option. I also think for backup infielders, we have Brad Sonneborn down here just dying to get called up. He's absolutely raking in AAA. So, maybe Kova gets sent down or whatever, but that's that. And then, the rotation, if Joey Breen keeps pitching, even give me a 4 ERA, I think the rotation's a real strength. And I don't think there's any real holes. And then the bullpen, it's been pretty admirable how we've kind of pieced this together with, ancient Jesus Luzardo, although he's only 33. God, he feels like he's like 40 the way that he's fallen off. But he's only 33. He's having a decent year. We've kind of pieced it together with minor league guys that we drafted who haven't worked out as starters, like Nate Snead, Alden Davis, Caleb Wallace. We kind of got in a nothing trade way back in the day. Dominic Fritton was the guy we drafted in the first draft, 7th round. Ian Seymour we got on a minor league deal a couple off seasons ago. Kyle Harrison got on a minor league deal making nothing. Jorge Mercedes was a guy that was here before. Yeah, he signed in 2018 as an IFA. Is he a free agent? He has 1 more year of control. It's really cool how we made up this bullpen. It's been one of the best bullpens. It's been the best bullpen in baseball. Our starters have been second best. It's pretty, I don't know. As long as the hitting continues to, guys continue to hit, maybe Lewis ticks up, even if Carroll ticks down a bit, which he has, but he still had an incredible season. It's kind of terrifying. He's going to win MVP in his 1 year in Miami. Luis Herrera might give him the run for his money. We'll see. As long as this lineup keeps hitting like this, Chad Rodgers ticks up a bit, and give me an 80 WRC plus at the end of the year, and I'll be happy. We'll go up to the deadline. I don't know if there's a ton to be done, though. I don't want to screw up what we have here because it's been a really good team. So we'll come back when there's a trade to be made. Okay, so we have our first trade of the trade season. So we're going to be shipping off Rodney Green, a former 4th-round pick for us, has played a ton in the majors. He has a career OPS plus of 79. Or career WRC plus of 79, career OPS plus of 82, 2.3 career WAR. He's fragile. Theoretically good power, but just has not been able to make good enough contact. Struck out 46% of the time this year, 38% the year or last year, 38% the year before. He just cannot. He's not going to be a major league hitter if he keeps striking out that much. He's 28, good defender, but I think it's time to move on. And then Javier Sinoja. A guy who has been on the team, kind of been through a crazy ride. I kind of had him stashed in AAA for a few years. He hit decently well, then got taken by Kansas City in the Rule 5. They sent him back, and then the next season I wound up calling him up for his major league debut. He played okay, and then the year after he was like my main backup outfielder. Played a ton of games, played pretty well. And the year after he played pretty well. Last year wasn't quite as good. Or this year wasn't quite as good so far. He's getting expensive. That's about it. $3.6 million arbitration estimate. So, we're just trying to get a little bit cheaper with guys who might even get non-tendered this offseason. So, in return, we're going to pick up Travis Bazzana, who was the 3rd overall pick in this version of the draft. He wound up going 1st overall this year. And, he hasn't had a really impressive major league career so far. He's been about a league average hitter in 1,000 plate appearances or so. Did have one really good year for Colorado. He was okay for Chicago for a few years. This year has been mostly in AAA. But, it's kind of a Rodney Green story. Like, maybe just needs a change of scenery. He's listed as a first baseman. I'm going to play him at second. I think he'll be fine over there. He's never really had any terrible seasons defensively. I guess 2029 is pretty bad. But last year wasn't nearly as bad. We're going to give it a shot over at second. And he'll split time with Jesus Flores while he kind of develops. So that's that. And then Brian Abreu is kind of just a throw in here. He's making $7.5 million this year. Isn't having a good season. But, he has a track record of being a decent arm. Has the big stuff. I think with our catching tandem, being really good defensively, it can kind of help him out. And, our defense is really good too. So we're going to pick up Brian Abreu basically for free. They're retaining all of his contracts. And yeah, we wave goodbye to a couple veteran outfielders at this point for us. So we open up a few spots on the 40-man. We do need to clear some on the active roster. So Luis Cova has been up, hasn't played much. So we're going to send him down for Pizzana. And then pitching-wise, probably send down Alton Davis, although Sneed's kind of tired. So we'll send down Sneed and add Abreu to the team. He'll start in low leverage, but he can easily work his way up. You might be my 8th inning guy or 7th inning guy to start because we really don't have a ton of trustworthy guys up at the moment. Okay, so that's that. We're going to keep simming ahead. We should have the All-Star game in a few days, so we'll just go up to that, see who we have for our All-Stars. And 12-1 victory. I didn't even put Pizzana in the lineup. I got to do that. But Carroll has a huge game, continues his MVP season. Nordo Watkins, 3 hits. Multi-RBI games from Herrera and Adams. Perez, absolutely dominant. What a first half he's had. So we faced Tariq School, who is still a really good arm. Not quite as good as he was even last year, scouting-wise. His movement's dropped off a little bit. Besides that, he's still just as good. But so he will face Joey Breen, his last start before the break, and we lose 6-5. Dominic Fritton's hurt. 3 to 4 weeks. That's not great. We're already kind of down a couple arms in the pen, so Jason Flores will get recalled. He's been good for us. We lose 6-5. 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, unfortunately. Really good start from Joey Breen, though. He's been, excellent in 4 starts. Ian Seymour gave up a few runs. And then Mercedes went up into the winning run. So, looking to take the series here against Atlanta. We will have Jason DeCaro on the mound for the last game before the All-Star break. And we lose 3-1. Lose the series against Atlanta. DeCaro has a good start. But we couldn't get anything against Hurston Waldrop. Nordo Watkins had 3 of our 4 hits, or 5 hits, sorry. So that's how the first half will end. We are 58-31, up 10.5 games in the Rockies. Really good first half. No complaints. And All-Star teams were announced. I suspect we'll have quite a few. Here's the AL. Oh, man, what a first half from Grayson Rodriguez. Holy crap. And that's after this really bad start. What a season. Holy shit. Okay, looking for any former guys that we may have had that passed our... Oh, Christian Linton. There you go. I definitely remember him. We traded him for Royce Lewis way back in the day. So he's up in the majors, pitching well, an all-star in his 3rd full season up in the majors, 2nd full year as a starter. Good for him. I didn't think he'd ever work out, but it looks like Minnesota got something in him. I'd actually like to review that trade just to see what else we gave. We have Braxton Gary. He got hurt. Yidi Kape is still playing for them. He's played pretty damn well. Wow. He had a hell of a 2029. Holy crap. What? His infield range is at a 45 now. Yeah, he emerged as a good player. I always thought he would. I probably said that at the time, too. What else did we give up? We gave up Nick Abel. He's with Philly. Wasn't really good with Minnesota, it looks like. Jaron Purify has not made it up to the majors yet. Eli Pitts playing in Double-A for them. And Tristan Beck, free agent. So, not too bad. We gave up an all-star pitcher, but we got Royce Lewis back. So, I don't see anyone else that really rings out. Carson Williams makes it. His first year on the Yankees. Really good season. But I think we're happy with what we have in the infield at this point. So that's it. NL. Yuri Perez not starting. Jimmy Brewer. Jimmy Brewer, what the heck? Who's this guy? 3rd overall pick in 2028. Wow. Total beast. I don't think he should be starting over Yuri Perez, but I mean, that's besides the point. Perez had an insane first half. Even Edgar Salas had a better first half than Jimmy Brewer, but whatever. Peyton Wisniewski, nice. Wow, he's a washed version of himself, but still made the All-Star team. Let's see, no relievers. Not too surprising. And then we have Luis Herrera at shortstop. And we have Corbin Carroll out in right. I thought we would have had more. I guess in order to Watkins missed some time. Lewis hasn't been really that good this first half. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we'll keep moving forward here and come back with potentially another trade. Okay, so we are using kind of our biggest asset here to flip a pretty big trade. So Jonathan Wilson, he was a first-round pick back in 2027. We called him up a few years back, didn't hit at all. Hit okay in the minors last year, called him up, didn't hit. So far in limited tries, has not hit. And, we have Chad Rogers here is probably, despite a bad season, our catcher of the future. So it makes Wilson expendable. And, I'd like to see him get regular at-bats, although he'll be behind Kyle Teal in Boston, so really no different. But, hopefully he can get some playing time. We're also going to throw in Mike Suazo, who's not a nothing prospect at all. Was a guy they really liked, former 14th round pick just a few years back. Has kind of cruised through the minors up in Double-A at this point, 23 years old. And in return, we're going to get DL Hall, who the numbers this year don't look terribly impressive. He's been good, not great. But I think this could be like with our defense at catcher and our defense in general, this could be like a number 2 to Yuri Perez like immediately. So he's a free agent after the season. He's 32 years old, but has not had any durability issues throughout his career like he has in real life. He's been a solid league average starter, but I think he can give us a little bit more than that. So this is a big price to pay here to pick him up, but I think it's worth it. So we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this and try to capitalize on this window here. That does push Joey Breen, unfortunately, out of the rotation. He'd been so good for us too, and he's going to get another chance next year. That's for sure, and he'll stick in the bullpen in some capacity. So that will probably push Davis back to the minors, and that'll be our bullpen for now. And we need a backup catcher. So the guy I was looking at was Luis Camposano. His defense has fallen off though since I previously looked. But this guy, Andrew injuries, Carrillo, the guy who's played in the majors plenty throughout his career, hit okay last year in AAA. We honestly just need someone to be able to play catcher. Like, isn't that even a big deal? Let's call up Campusano. We need a 40-man spot. These guys like 40-man possible. Not really. Or 60-day, sorry. I don't. If someone claims Andres, that's fine. So we'll add Campusano to the roster. He'll play every fifth game. Maybe bring a little bit of a bat. But picking up T.O. Hall here is pretty crazy. So Joey Breen will probably have to make this start because Hall won't be ready. But yeah, we'll sim ahead a few days, see if there's anything else, and we'll check in before we pass the deadline. All right, so I kind of looked around for more trades. I don't think there's much else we can really do. I trust this bullpen enough. We have the best pitching staff in baseball, but obviously we trust them enough. And I think any guy we bring up is going to be pretty good. And the offense has been incredible. We had a little bit of a scare. Corbin Carroll, there was an injury diagnosis pending. It wound up just being the tendonitis. He'll be back just, tomorrow. Royce has played really well. Herrera has been MVP candidate. Carroll's been an MVP candidate, obviously. Luke Adams has been really good since returning. Manuel Valdez has been fine enough at DH. Maybe that's a guy we look to maybe pick up, but is that even like a huge need? I don't know. I was looking at Mason Miller trades, and I really wanted him, but way too expensive. Was there anything out here on the trade block like Joey Ortiz I like? But he's hurt also, so never mind. Nick Prado's a guy who's having a really nice season. Definitely someone I would consider. The price is a little high on him, though. They really want Frank Arteaga. I don't think this is completely crazy. Nick Prado is a 32-year-old he's had a couple good seasons in the majors. Shouldn't say he's breaking out at age 32, but he kind of is. He's driven by a 391 BABIP. I don't even know if it's a guy I want to trade for. It feels like regression is right around the corner. Pio Londo has theoretical power. He's been horrible this season. It's just not really interesting. Could bring Dylan Carlson back for like his fifth time on the team. This guy's interesting. Justin Foscue, free agent after the season. I don't really think he's an upgrade over anyone, though. Jay Melendez, can he still play? He can still play. He's been a really good hitter, actually, the past few seasons. Is he an upgrade over what we have with Valdez and Barry, though? Barry's played better recently. Had a really nice game here. 3 hits, a home run, 4 RBIs. I think that combination gives us enough. We also have like Brad Sonneborn who want to get some at bats too. He's up in the majors. Jesus Flores is kind of a part-time player now. So I don't know. I think we'll be fine. I'm not going to make any more trades. This farm system's already kind of depleted with all the graduations in the majors and everything. We're 16th out of 32, so dead middle. I think our system's better than that, but that's besides the point. We're going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next time with hopefully some playoffs. We're 67-34, up 15.5 games, so we better hit the playoffs. But we'll be back for that. Peace.